Why do they want to restrict your words, but not your guns? The first two amendments of the United States are in a battle, and the forces in power want to restrict, and some want to take away the First Amendment, your right to free speech. But if you bring up restricting or taking away rights of the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, there will be a revolt, and some say it would be deadly. Behind me is my book, AIME, pronounced Amy. I'm going to read the First and Second Amendment in the United States Constitution. First Amendment: Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The Second Amendment: A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay, let's talk about the Second Amendment. The right to bear arms, the right to own guns. The United States has about 340 million people that reside within its borders. The United States has 500 million guns, 500 million approximately, because you can't track all of the guns that are moving back and forth through private exchanges. The United States has over 45,000 gun deaths per year. Over 50% of those are suicide by gun, which is a shocking figure. The leading cause of death among young black men is gun death. So, but most states have relaxed gun laws, not restrict them, in spite of school shootings like Sandy Hook, like Uvalde, where young children were slaughtered in their classrooms. And most recently, a high-profile death by gun of the podcaster and right-wing influencer Charlie Kirk. And in the same day in Colorado, there were additional students in school shot with guns. So, but restrictions of any kind on gun ownership has been soundly defeated and rejected most often by the United States Congress. Let's go to words. Words, you remember as a child, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Apparently, some people don't think that's true, given some recent events. Pulling off the air of the comedian, late night host Jimmy Kimmel, the canceling of the show of late night host Stephen Colbert, and the alleged targeting of some additional talk shows that, and often times, are critical of the leadership, including the President of the United States, Donald Trump. So some would say those people's First Amendment rights weren't violated. No one said they couldn't say what they said. They just won't have the platform to say it and reach as many people. To me, that's the same thing. If you're reduced from reaching millions to shouting in the wilderness, I think that might count as a restriction of your free speech. They're not saying you can't say it, but they're saying we're trying to make it where no one can hear you say it. Kind of like if a tree falls in the forest, does anyone hear it? Does it make a sound? You see, words last for centuries. The words of Confucius, the words of Gandhi, the words of Martin Luther King Jr., the words of Lincoln, the words of Jesus, they last for centuries. Words move people to overthrow regimes. They move people to change their form of government. They move people even to try to overthrow a country and stop the peaceful transfer of power by attacking the Capitol building in the United States of America when an election is being certified to go from one president to another. Words are powerful. So, if you have someone that doesn't want certain words spoken because it's against their interests or because they just have fragile egos, and they use the power of their government and the power of what should be watchdog groups and agencies to chill free speech, and if not chill the speech, to banish that speech to where it can't be heard, then we have a crisis, and the First Amendment is on its way out. Matter of fact, there's a growing murmur in government coming from some members of the ruling party that says the First Amendment, free speech, shouldn't be absolute. So while we have advocates protecting the free speech of an individual that was unfortunately taken off the scene by gun violence, but yet the words that were spoken and left behind are being defended as being protected by free speech. But at the same time, other words coming from corners that don't align with that are being restricted, not by being banned, but being banished. The banishment of the speaker to smaller platforms where they don't reach as many people. So, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, apparently, some people don't feel that way, depending on who is speaking those words.